Hello. Hi. Welcome. Thanks for watching and thanks for hopping on and joining the replay. We've been having a great discussion so far. This is day 3, 50 days, helping you get into your strategy to start your own grant writing business. So yesterday we talked about targeting nonprofits that you're most passionate about. If you want to appeal to clients and who you want to figure out who you want to work with. And today we're going to talk about if you um, do work with smaller nonprofits, these are just some of the things you need to take into consideration. So I would just had some one of the top 3 things that I've heard working with nonprofits, some things that you may get, some questions that you may get asked, and even some comments that you may receive. So I just wanted to share these things for those that are considering working with grassroots, smaller organizations, less than $1 million. Just to take these things into consideration. So if this is what you're interested in, working with your local county, or local government or local smaller nonprofit in your community, these are some things that you can consider. So again, this is day 3. We're on our way to 50 days of helping you, giving you tips and tools on starting your grant writing business. So I'll go through some of the topics. So again, starting your grant writing business, if you're interested in working with smaller nonprofits with a revenue of less than $1 million, be ready for some things that they may say that may questions that you may receive is, can we pay you from the grant award? Now, if you're part of a membership organization such as AFP, which is the Association for Fundraising Professionals, or GPA, which is the Grant Professionals Association, code of ethics is you cannot get paid from the grant funds. Of course, they have it written out more detailed, but essentially, you cannot get paid from a grant award. Commission, it cannot be commission based. So essentially, because the budgets are created and designed for to fund programs or to fund services, not to pay a grant writer. So sometimes you have to do some education. Well, with working with smaller nonprofits, there will be times where you'll have to do some educating and letting them understand and communicating to them kindly as possible that you cannot be paid from the grant award. So be prepared for that question and basically have a template or a um, guide or a saved document where you can extract that information from, because that'll be something that you can share as you get those questions coming in. And that's something that you at one point have a website. You can communicate that on your website so that you don't constantly have to address that concern. So again, we do not get paid commission based from grants. It is not commission based. Now I know that it happens. Is it illegal? No, but it's essentially unethical. So again, um, I do not get paid from grants. My colleagues and peers do not get paid from grant awards. So you want to steer clear away from that. So that's one of the questions or concerns you may receive from smaller nonprofits. Another one that I wrote down is, I just recently received this. Let's go after grants that are the fastest in returns that we can access as soon as possible and that have the most success. So someone that inquired working with me, that was her feedback. She wanted to say that let's go after these grants as soon as we can, and the ones that give us the greater return on investment and all these wonderful things. I mean, if it was that easy, you would not be seeking professional services. So to remember, just to keep in mind that again, you're going to be educating. You're working with smaller nonprofits, grassroots, even some middle-sized nonprofits. You're just going to be doing some educating and explaining to them how the process works. Grants are not a quick fix. They typically can take anywhere to 6 to 8 months. Hopefully not that long before you receive one award, especially when you're just getting started and gearing up. So you want to make sure that you stress that to your clients as well. So number 1 was, can we get paid from the grant award, and how we will address that. Number 2 is, let's go after grants that are the fastest in returns, that can get us access as soon as possible. And a third one that you may receive is, I'll just use our local bank awarded $1 million to a similar nonprofit that does the same work that we do. So we should go after them as well to see if we can get $1 million too. So again, nurturing, having those conversations, talking to them about um, what type of relationship or other organization may have. Do you all have any type of relationship with the funders? Anyone on the board have a relationship with the board? Do your board members have any type of connections with the bank? So it's just a lot of other things that are involved in that. You can write a wonderful application and may not receive any funding from that bank just because they funded a similar organization. So keep those things in mind. These are just types of questions that you may receive, and how to communicate this to your nonprofits, to organizations that you decide to work with. The focus is smaller nonprofits, but again, these can be questions that come up for your mid-sized organizations as well. Again, you want to ask questions. What funders do your or your boards do they have connections with? Who do they have relationships with? Stress the importance that your board will need to guide and lead and build relationship. That make sure that you educate them that they're a functioning board, especially a small nonprofit. All hands on deck. Everyone needs to be involved in the fundraising to bring in funds for the organization. Just getting started, smaller nonprofits looking to funds or grants from your local United Way. They typically give grants to smaller nonprofits, $1,000, $10,000. It's maybe even $5,000 to get you going, and to start giving you a history of awards that you can build from, and start there and go from there. And also look into your county grants. Just for smaller grassroots organizations, you may be able to get awards from your county that are funding your causes that you are providing in the local community. So just want to stress 50 days, starting your nonprofit. These are some things to take into consideration. I would say even if you've just received one award as a professional at your organization, say you receive one county grant, you can still do some consulting on the side, leverage that award, and potentially work with similar organizations as yours, and just build up your clientele in that manner, and just continue to market yourself and put yourself out there. Look into professional membership organizations, network. Even in this COVID world, a lot of virtual meetings, virtual events other organizations are having. If it's an organization that you want to be a part of, a nonprofit that you would like to get in front of, participate with them. Go to their virtual events that they're hosting, and just again network and get your name out there. Again, if you receive one award, you're a grant professional, and you want to promote yourself as such. So that's pretty much wraps up today's topic. Again, um, 50 days to starting your grant writing business. We're on day number 3. You're working with small nonprofits. These are some things to consider. So again, the first one was, can we pay you from the grant, commission based? And I talked about how to address that. We don't want to even start those conversations. You want to nip that in the bud in the beginning and just let them know that the grant budget is designed to fund programs and services and not to pay for a professional grant writer. Number 2, I talked about some of feedback you may see from an organization. Let's go after grants that are the fastest in returns, and that we can access as soon as possible, and they have the most success. So again, some education around how grants work, a timeline of what it typically takes, especially when you're just getting started, anywhere from 6 to 8, 9 months before you can receive your first award. And also local banks giving out tons of money to organizations doing similar work as ours. We should also be able to get those funds as well. So you want to be able to address those type of concerns, let them know a lot of relationship building is involved, and then making sure that they are doing the same thing as well. So again, yesterday we talked about target nonprofits that you're most passionate about in order to build up your clientele. And today is, if you're working with small nonprofits, those are some things to consider. And tomorrow is day 4. We're going to talk about how to get experience as a grant professional in different industries. So if you're working at a food bank and you want to get experience in healthcare fields, I'm gonna go through some of the things I did to get experience in a whole ton of different industries. Starting out in K-12 education, and now I have experience in essentially every topic that I can pretty much think of. So we'll go through some tips and tools to do that as well. Thank you so much for joining. Please get on my email list for more tips and tools that I send out daily. JuneFirstFirm.com. That's JuneFirst.firm, and drop in your email address, and you'll be receiving those emails. Right now, during this campaign, I'm sending out emails daily about what we talked about today, the option to watch the replay, and topics for the next day as well. So thanks again for joining. Again, join the list for tools and tips on starting your grant writing business. That's JuneFirstFirm.com, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a good night.